It is recording. You can go ahead and begin whenever you're ready.
Alright, then let us begin. Welcome everyone to the Officer Training Conference for Presidents. Nice to see everyone. Next. So of course we're going to have introductions for the presenters. So again, hello, my name is Melanie Sacton, and I was the past Key Club President for Valley High School for the 2020 to 21 term. It's very nice to see everyone, and I'm from Division 20 East Pandas from Valley High School. I'm in class of 2022, meaning I'm a junior right now, and I'm very soon going to become a senior. Very lucky of me. Next, during the 2018 to 19 term, I was freshman representative. During the 2019 to 20 term, I was vice president of service, and during the 2020 to 21, I was president. So of course I have a lot of hobbies, but these are just a few of them. I love cooking, I like watching anime, and I love gaming. For the cooking part though, it's still a work in progress, I'm not going to lie. For the fun facts, I do have a couple of them. I easily get distracted during conversations. I ramble on. It makes for an interesting conversation, but at the same time, don't call me when we're doing work. I will get distracted. Next, I love cold drinks. No matter the weather, I'm gonna be drinking a cold drink, a frappuccino or a slushie. To the right, you'll see a picture of myself. It was at the beginning of my sophomore year. Yes, honestly, it's a very cute picture, but I wish I took more pictures. I wish I had more variety. At the bottom, you will see one of my motivations during my presidential term, because yes, as president, you need some type of motivation to keep you going. And for me, that was my puppy, my baby, Cindy. There's a baby picture of her. She's so cute. Alrighty, next one for Bethany.
Hi guys, again, I'm Bethany. I'm from D28 South, Clark High School. I'm again a senior. I was SA and on the DLT. My main hobbies are just PC games. Kind of a loser. And another loser fact is I'm top 9K on Osu Taiko, which is a rhythm game, which is really nerdy, and I'm top 1K in the country. Another fact is I also like hard cookies and corner brownie pieces. They're really good. So moving on, these are our presidential duties. We have obstacles and going over icebreakers, also tips and tricks, and then you guys can ask questions or have any comments. You guys can say that at the end of the presentation. You can still ask any questions while we're presenting, and the other presenter will try to answer the question as best as they can. So for presidential duties, we have your expected tasks. So as president, you need to have at least 50 service hours in your term. It may seem hard when there's quarantine, but it is manageable. It is required when you are applying for distinguished president for the district contest, so you need to make sure you plan accordingly. And it's really good to have a good amount of hours for your members, especially since they look up to you and they'll be more motivated to see that their president is trying in their club. Second is exceptional knowledge of Key Club. So for example, if someone asks you like, hey, what's Key Club, and you're like, I don't know, like how are they going to react to Key Club? How are they going to have a positive side of Key Club? They'll just be like, wow, I asked the president of Key Club and they don't know. So make sure you know like a good description of Key Club that just snaps into your head when someone asks you, what is Key Club? Because as president, you should have a general answer when that question pops up. And then third one, you have represent your club. So whenever you're going to, for example, DCMs, you're doing roll calls at Kiwanis events or any K family events, you're representing your club there and should create a good bond with any Kiwanis or any K family there. This also goes for even outside of Key Club on social media. You have to follow Safe Key because you are representing your club either way, even if you're outside of school. Or what if you're taking a trip to Asia, then you're still representing your club somewhat. So fourth one, you have communication. Communication is key. It's the most important thing ever, whether it's in Key Club or not. So first of all, you have your LTG. Your LTG is basically kind of your boss, and they do relay information from the district board to you. So you don't know anything about like anything district wide, for example, goals or like due dates for dues. That you get that information either through your LTG and also through your advisor too, which moves on to our next one. Our advisors, whether it be our Kiwanis advisor or faculty advisors, they're really both like they're both great. But if you don't communicate with them, then what's gonna happen? Nothing. So your advisor basically passes like all your events through. So any like service event, any like what a DCM or like meetings, for example, your advisor kind of has to talk to the school to set all of that up, especially if you're going to be changing dates or having a bunch of events. All the stuff goes through your advisor, and your advisor also has to like go like look over what you're doing to make sure it's like okay. Your board, with your board, you have to delegate tasks, and they have to know like information about every event. If they don't know a time or a date and event, it'll be really confusing and it cause like a bunch of confusion in the board. And lastly, you have your members. So with your members, like if they don't know also what Key Club is, it's a bit confusing to kind of like have them share it with their friends and have their friends interested. And also like if the members don't know when due dates are for like dues, or for example, a Google form that you need to like be signed for like an event, or like for example decon, and you have to have it by a certain date. So it's really important to get that information out to the members either through Reminds or Google Classroom. Attendance is very important as always. So meetings, as president, you hold your meetings at board meetings and also general meetings, events. It's good whether they're service events or just like normal events. You should still go to them. If your members don't see you doing service, then they won't be motivated to go to those service events. DCMs, you're going to be the one that's usually doing roll call. And then OTC, RTC, and fall rally. OTC, it's very, very highly recommended that you guys go. So thankfully you guys are here. RTC, while it is one of the cheapest events out of like fall rally and district convention, so you should for sure go to that one. But if you cannot make it to like fall rally or district or decon due to financial issues, that's okay. So moving on.
So transitioning into your term, as you can see to the right, this is emphasized hype your year up. Technically, your term began like April 12th, April 11th. So, but that's the end of the school year, and those are exams. A lot of people are prioritizing exams, so they're not paying too much attention to Key Club, which is unfortunate but understandable. So that's why you have till now, till the summer, to either to transition to your term, to train yourself and be like, okay, get yourself into that role that you are now president and you need to prioritize your responsibilities. So have weekly meetings over the summer. Or if you can do weekly, do every other week. And you know why? It's because I get it. Hot girl summer, hot boy summer. But like, here's the thing about that. You're president now and you have a lot of responsibilities and you need to do that over the summer. Because the first 3 months of the school year are very, very important. Because those are the most impactful months of the start of the school year. Especially your guys' term is going to be very hectic because a lot of clubs lost members over the summer. Unfortunately, we didn't because we adapted quickly, but a lot of clubs didn't, and now they're using this opportunity to get members again since they're more adapted to it. And that's why you guys need to plan out your year before the year even begins over the summer. Try to have a timeline of like when you want to finish planning things out. I recommend July because by then you guys will most likely have everything done. And on top of that, by then your advisors will most likely tell you more information about whether or not you can do stuff on campus or off campus. Next, go over your club's constitution with your board. You probably already informed about your club's constitution, but just in case, at the beginning of summer, dedicate like a month just to go over it and to update it. because your constitution was there since day one of your club's creation at your school. So because of that, it has actual rules and it better defines your club, your position, and technically, yeah, your role in your club. So it will help a lot with just making personal goals and to just switch it up a little bit just in case your year is like extra special or something. Next, have service over the summer. This will seriously help you guys out in just hyping up service in general. It's also a great way to hype up Key Club over the summer because a lot of students, yeah, there are students if you have like those, special kids who go to, I don't know, Italy or Greece or something over the summer. But those are like rich kids. And like, honestly, I wish I was them, but unfortunately, no. But there are a lot of students who are at home doing nothing and have nothing to do. So you guys, Key Club, we make service fun. Make fun service projects for your members. And to really motivate them, I highly recommend you guys interact with other clubs and work with them to make fun service projects. You can like have a whole, I don't know, division service project you want. I don't know, you gotta talk to your LDG about that, but make it fun and interesting. Next, this is just my recommendation. You don't have to do this, but you should have an in-person board hangout or a meeting. Of course, follow COVID guidelines, wear a mask 24/7, bring some hand sanitizer. If you wear gloves, wear those gloves. I've never seen anyone do that, but I've heard about it. So I recommend this because here's the thing. Yeah, virtual is a lot safer and more convenient, but it doesn't feel as personal. And yeah, it's like, wow, you guys are engaging online, but right now it just feels so different, I guess. Okay, I'm good with that. So service guidelines, yes, US president needs to know this. So especially within our presidential term, this was really emphasized because of, virtual and social distancing. So I'm going to help you guys out. So what exactly is a service hour? It is when a member actively participates in service which is approved by a Key Club board member. So to help you guys like get the image, here are some examples. There are more ideas in like another slide, but these are just a list of examples. In person, have a park cleanup, running a booth for a service event, service projects done at DCMs, etc. Virtual. Charity miles, free rides, service projects during meetings, etc. So a common trait that they all have is, of course, service. But the next thing that they have in common is that they all have actual legitimate evidence to show that they spend this amount of time at this, doing service. So it's a lot easier now as online, but it's a lot hard to come up with like actual service project ideas. Like for example, over the summer, my club did this before we kind of like had the whole training thing, but now we know better. But our club, what we did was that we were like, okay, guys, you can get an hour of service if you go to your local park and clean up trash. And to actually get that the hours, send us a picture of you doing it. They can easily lie about it, and I get the whole idea of trust your members, but just to accurately record hours, it's best that you guys go into detail and think about whether or not you guys can, do that. Next, what doesn't count as service hour? Donations. So this is actually a bit more complicated with donations. It depends. Because if you have your member has a whole neighborhood, goes to each house and says, hey, can I, if you have any canned foods, can you give it to me? Like if you're no longer using it. And next, yes, pictures for articles and visuals. It seriously helps out with that. And next, if they have actual evidence that they went to each person's house, of course, they deserve those hours. Like, that's a lot of work. I did before. Oof, those people, they sometimes get angry. I don't know why. Next, doing household chores. This is very self-explanatory, but just in case, I'll explain it to you guys. That is something that you're already supposed to do. It's a responsibility that your parents gave you, and it's already a household type of thing. It's a self-service thing. It doesn't benefit the community at all, and yeah, it's pretty understandable right there. Next, posting on Instagram to spread awareness. We love the fact that you are using your social media platform to spread awareness about certain topics, but you're just posting stuff on your story. Getting an hour for just posting something on your story, wow, that's crazy. Next, district service project chair emails. So the thing about this is that if you run out of ideas for just service projects in general, like you ran out of juice, don't worry, the service project chair got you. Check your emails and type in like the service project's email, and then just look at all the emails that she sent you, because she does every so often, she or he every so often sends emails, and each email has like a list of ideas that your club can do. And the last one is an idea, something that my club did. It was called, I think it was, yeah, Dog Toys for Jeff and Glasses for Tombos. It was a drive that we did, and we worked with a small local business and used their location as a drop-off location. And it was because our school, we do use them as a drop-off location because of the whole pandemic thing. Totally understandable. So we emailed people, small local businesses, saying, hey, can we use your location as a drop-off? And we told them all the details about the service project and stuff like that. And then we asked, say, hey, is it possible if you guys can give each person who comes and donates a discount? And they were like 100% okay with it, because we were also promoting their business. And on top of that, very social distancing as well. On top of that, we also like buy stuff from them. Not gonna lie, I bought a lot. If you guys want an actual visual representation, a visual example of what the email looked like, drop your emails so I can send you guys an example. So I'm good with that. Oh yeah, why is this important? Ooh, okay. So you guys probably already understand this, but just in case, I will put it in. If you inaccurately record your service hours, it greatly affects distinguished awards requirements. If a lot of clubs have how do I say this? If a lot of clubs have inflated hours, the district team, of course, is going to be like, wow, it's kind of sus, but a lot of clubs are doing super well this year. You know what? Let's make the requirements harder so they can strive to do more, and it better motivates them. So they're going to make it hard, and it's very unfair for those who are actually accurately putting in their hours, and it makes it hard on you because, you know, your hours were a lie to begin with, which sucks. Not a lie, but it's just inflated. Next, if you're caught recording inaccurate hours consistently, you could be disqualified from awards. Well, not really could. You might most likely will, because no one likes a liar. Think about that. You're a key culprit. Why would you lie about your hours? You don't have to. Just be honest. And next, stay moral when giving out service hours is 10 out of 10. Be that good person. Yes.
Sorry, I was copying pasting the emails. Okay, but hello, for service ideas. These are some things that we do in our club. So we have actually like do club competitions. So this involves free rice, bean bean bean, and charity mile. So with free rice and bean bean bean, I'm pretty sure you guys are all familiar with them. But if you guys don't know, they're basically like websites, and also free rice is an app where you answer trivia questions for each one you answer or each one you get right. Your correct answers get translated into money that will be donated to food banks. With charity miles, it's you run a certain amount of miles to donate money. For example, there's March of Dimes and UNICEF on there. You can donate money to that, and then you can add all the miles up and the money up and see which class like wins. And so it's good to have an incentive with that. For example, let's say the prize for like the class is goodie bags, and what's inside it is pins, stickers, a lei, like that, like kind of like that stuff. And so people won't know what's in the goodie bag because they're going to be like, oh yeah, it's a goodie bag, but they won't know what's inside it. I mean, okay, but it's good to add competitiveness in your club because it drives the members to do more. And when you share how much like money or how much like beans or rice you've like that the class like have made, then it's like, whoa, we did that much. That's so crazy. Maybe we can like try to do more next time we have like a club competition or whatever. It may be a bit hard when a bunch of your classes, like for example, there's a bunch of sophomores, but there's not a lot of like seniors. Like let's say there's like 3 seniors in your club. It might be a bit hard, but it's okay. You may have to readjust your club competition for that. So yeah, it's really nice to have those like competitions in your club. Next up, we have service project bingo. So I actually tried this with my club. It was like a good idea, but it was just like the wrong time. Like I feel like not a lot of members were motivated to do it, but it's a really like very cool idea. So it's kind of just a normal bingo board with a bunch of like service projects in each box. And so each box can include like a small service project or kind of like a big one, but it should be easy enough for the members to clear like a row or diagonally or like even a column. So and it's when they clear it out, they kind of feel like accomplished, and you can see and again, you could probably make that a competition, be like service September or something, and put that in and see who wins the bingo. Some kind of like that. Next up we have search engines. So there's a bunch of search engines out there that donate to charity or some type of organization for every search you have. I like to use Search Scene, like search and then SEENE. It actually donates 95% of its profits to 5 different charities, and one of them includes UNICEF. So what I like to do is just go to the a search engine, and then I can actually uncheck everything except UNICEF. So I'm only donating just to UNICEF. So it's a really nice way to kind of support one of our main charities, along with doing service. I'll get on to kind of tracking how to track hours for that later. But next up, we have service meetings and events, or also socials with other clubs. So if you're the type of club that likes to do service actively with like your members and stuff, it's good to have a bunch of like many service meetings and also like socials with other clubs, because if you're already doing service meetings, you should also do socials with other key clubs, especially since you're kind of talking with other clubs and knowing like what they're doing, and your members are being like, wow, you guys know that school, how do you guys know that school? And they'll be they'll be like, oh, you guys have connections because of key club, okay. And then they'll be like, wow, you can make a lot of connections with when you're in key club. So they'll be kind of like impressed at the same time. So also, and if you're not the type of the club that does like the service have like service meetings, you should, because they're really helpful, and I kind of wish I like had that dynamic when I was president. When you're doing service individually, we use like a Google form for my club, and we set deadlines for the members to kind of like turn them in. And so we do it monthly just so it's like easier for the secretary, and then we leave time for her to kind of like get the hours ready before she sends in the MRF. So to track, for example, if you're doing free rice or bean, let's say bean because bean doesn't have, I don't want to say bean, but bean doesn't have an app. So so you just search up web time tracker Google extension, and it searches it's like the first one on there. So you download it, and it shows like how long you've been on this website. For example, let's say I have like more than 24 hours of YouTube. Let's say that, and like you can see your all time like time on your websites, and it's kind of freaky. But it's really easy when you're trying to ask members how long have you been on this website. Let's say the search engine. When you're on a search engine, you're not on it entirely unless you're like really researching like how do beluga whales swim. Let's say you're like trying to search up like that question, and you're like trying to find an answer, like, and you're really into it, so you'll be on that website for a while compared to like, oh, when you're trying to search up a definition for a word. So it's really convenient trying to do those virtual service projects. And then next up, if you don't have any other ideas, or you're like, I wonder what other clubs are doing, you can obviously ask other presidents from CNH. So for example, like Cali, Hawaii, and also even just in Reno or even here. I recommend also kind of making some type of like, I guess, group chat with the other presidents. I know I had one with my presidents. I mean, we didn't talk much, but when we did have like events just for presidents, and we wanted like help too, we would just ask questions in that group chat. but yeah. And then next up, we have a Google Doc. So we kind of are trying to make a Google Doc for you guys, which is right now owned by the Clark President email. It's called R5 Virtual Home Project Ideas, and it will be shared with all of the president emails, but as of now, it's only shared with the 28 South. So we'll be sharing that Google Doc later. But basically, this is so you got this is like so this. Oh my gosh, I can't talk. This is so you guys can edit and add more service projects. So it will help out the other presidents. There are links, for example, the link tree of the CNH service project chair. And so it sends you like a list of all the service projects that we got from the district last year, and so it's really helpful. And there's also you can send links of your own service projects, Google Docs, if you already have one, in the comments. And then yeah, and so it should be really helpful for you guys to get through your term. And I kind of wish I had this when I was a president too, so I hope this will help you guys out. And yeah, so as for events, this kind of goes for kind of virtual and also in person. So if you're having it in person, when you're contacting an organization, contact them through their email and number, because one may prefer one over the other. So it's good to do both. Some annual events you can do is Rock and Roll Marathon and Chinese New Year Festival. So for Chinese New Year Festival, we use that as our kind of like our trading event for our presidents. And so the reason why is because Chinese New Year Festival usually comes in between or it comes after your elections, but also kind of comes before decon. So it's kind of like at Chinese New Year Festival, what usually happens there is the president is delegating what members go to what booths and what like members are like doing what. And so the president elect will be the one kind of in charge too of like trying to like organize everything and be like, okay, you do this and you do that. So it's a really nice training event for your president elects. Additional events are also Clean the World, Project 150, and 3 Square. I'm pretty sure you guys have done these when we were in person, but if not, those are some you can try. Some service events you can find online and also ask other presidents. So for when you're trying to plan an event, be attentive of the location. For example, Clark has magnet students that or Clark Key Club has a bunch of magnet students that are like all over Vegas. Like some of us are in Henderson, some of us are like in Summerlin, and it's just like so it's good to have one service event in one part of Vegas and have another one in another part and like in the same month to keep in mind of like the other students. If you're zoned, then I guess you're lucky. Must be nice. But yeah, volunteer limitation and also chaperones. Do you have like you when you're doing events, you do have to follow the 12-to-1 ratio for with chaperones, and most of you guys only have one advisor or even have or maybe even have two co-advisors. So it's good to like kind of keep in track of that. And also your organization that you're serving at may be like, oh, we only need 12 people at this service event. So you need to like ask a lot of questions for the service organization. Third of all, how does this event help the community? So make sure that this event really impacts the community compared to one that's like pretty small. Let's say like you'd want to choose like what serving at a food bank compared to like cleaning up trash at like a park. While both are good, you want to compare which ones you would want to do and which one would like benefit the community. And then fourth of all, will members enjoy this event? So when you're choosing events too, make sure like when you're planning the events, make sure they're fun and you have something that's like engaging. I mean, I know as of right now it's not really engaging, but like, you know, when you're with your members, make sure they're like, oh my gosh, this event is so fun. And if the thing that you're doing is not really fun, make it fun. So that's kind of what this is what it is for service ideas.
So fundraising guidelines. Yes, you're supposed to know this. I know it's the treasurer's job, but as president, you should always keep this in mind as well. So key clovers are never allowed to hold money. This includes yourself and your board. You always have to have an advisor with you. Yes, during fundraisers, you are grabbing the money, but you always give it to your advisor because they are the ones who handle the money. Next, know what you are fundraising for. So, for example, if someone like out of nowhere just comes and say, "Hey, what's the fundraiser for?" and you're just like, "Oh, it's for Key Club." That's a very vague answer. It's not that descriptive, and you don't know if they know anything about Key Club. They don't know that Key Club is all about service and that all the money that we collect is either to donate to our preferred charities or whatever charities, or is for like our members, for example, fees. You always gotta explain why you are fundraising. Like for example, you're just like, the fundraiser we have is to raise money for PTP, which is pediatric trauma program, and then explain more about what that program is so they can understand that this is for a just cause. Always know the reason why you're doing this. So Bethany's gonna explain the fundraising ideas.
Okay, I don't want to get too much into it, but Dine and Flyers is a good option since Dine and Flyers you don't really have to meet up in person, have like a big group. So if you guys don't know what Dine and Flyers, it's when you have kind of like flyers for a food place, and members will go there and show the flyer, and some of the profits that they give will go to Key Club, and some of it will go to the actual food place. Game tournament. I've actually tried planning one, and then due to like my laziness and like the end of the term kind of like slump, I was a bit lazy and couldn't really go through with it. But hopefully there will be some type of game tournament in Region 5. So yeah, plan one. They're actually really cool, but it requires a lot of paperwork, and also your description, for example, of like make sure you describe everything that you're using. And like what Twitch is, what your game is, so that type of stuff. So it needs to all go through Miss Santi. So Charity Miles, while it is also a service project, it also donates money to March of Dimes and UNICEF. So it's kind of a good way to fundraise for our main charities. Another one is bingo fundraisers on social media. So they're kind of like bingo. They're normal bingo cards that you post on your story, but each row has a certain amount of money on it, and people can like send you money to kind of like support what you're having. But in this case, you can't hold money. So what you should do is contact your sponsoring Kiwanis or your Kiwanis advisor to make like an account, like a Venmo or PayPal account, and hold that money for you. And what they can do is send a check through like directly to the charity that you're supporting or whatever you're having, since it will be easier than having it go through the school. So then, and if you can't fundraise or anything, some type of that, Mal will explain what you can do.
So my club was like very, very special this pandemic, this term. So our school, they wouldn't allow us to have access to our money, nor could we collect anything or do anything. And our advisors couldn't hold the money either because, stuff. And we didn't know what was happening to our Kiwanis advisor. And we tried emailing our sponsoring Kiwanis, but, they're very, it was at the beginning. They're still trying to get used to technology. Understandable. So we went to Kiwanis meetings and let them know. So, but then at the same time, if you do not have access to any of them, what you guys could do is work with another club who can handle money and have them be in charge of holding the money and like transferring and stuff. That's what we can do. It's also interclub. There you go.
Of course, if you can't get a hold of your Kiwanis advisor or your sponsoring Kiwanis, make sure to contact your LTG or someone that's there to help you, especially since they're kind of like there to help you too, your Kiwanis. So like what me and the Southwest CTA club, we didn't realize they didn't realize their Kiwanis advisor was kind of like gone, and we knew ours was gone, and then we found out at the end of our turn that we actually had the same one. And so we finally got together and we're like, hey, we need a new Kiwanis advisor. And so we contacted our sponsoring Kiwanis, and they actually gave us one. And he is very cool. Next up.
Oh, dang, kind of blind. Oh no, these are really small. Okay, so board management, yes, you guys are supposed to know this. And at the bottom of it, it's emphasized right here. Remember, I don't think you guys can read it, but I'll read it for you. So always remember that you determine how busy you and your board are. So this is because as president, you're literally the person who decides what goes on the agenda. And so meaning that you decide what you guys are doing that week or like that month or next month. You're the person who approves it and decides whether or not you guys are doing it. So first things first, distribute work equally. So don't be scared to ask for help. Your board is there for a reason. They're not for decoration. They're not there to be like, oh yeah, you can do it. I believe in you. They're not there. They're of course there to like give more support, but like they're also there to take on work. They have their own individual tasks that will allow your work to pretty much lessen. Don't overwork yourself. Next, make sure everyone has something to do. And you can also assign group tasks to board members. So there are two reasons why you have to make sure that everyone has something to do. So first, either that person starts getting lazy and unmotivated. You got to give them work to make them, keep them up, make them like feel as though they're doing something. Next is because, well, this is actually more of an example for my club. Because we didn't really do fundraisers, our treasurer, she technically didn't do anything at all, and I should have realized this as well. But she always attended admin meetings, and she actually texted me like towards the end saying, "Hey, I didn't do anything at all." Like she was actually the person that I was expecting to become president, but because of the fact that she didn't do anything at all during the term, she felt super useless, and she felt so bad because she didn't contribute anything at all. So instead of running for president, she decided to reapply for treasurer. So to make sure that doesn't happen, like I felt super bad because I should have realized. And that's why you have to distribute work equally, because someone might be feeling useless and it motivates them because they feel as though they're contributing to the club. Next, take breaks. So always prioritize your health and the health of your board members. This will allow your board members to enjoy their position. This is because if you overwork yourself and your board members, this would make you guys burn out so quickly. Like you guys need to take a break, because if you overwork yourself, you will lose motivation and they will start hating Key Club. Like it's like how like you like reading, but if it's like a school assignment, you hate reading. It's kind of that pretty much. Think of it like that. Next, check on your board members individually every month. This is to let them know that you're there for them. You should ask them if they need anything or if they need any help, ask how they're doing so far, check on their well-being, start conversations with them. Your board members are in the same position as you technically. They're also there to serve the members. They're there voluntarily. And so you guys can relate. Be there for them, show them that you got them, and if they have like any problems at all, you're always there for them. Like they're your friends. Always check up on them. So next, impeachment. What a very, very scary word. And the reason why it's scary is you guys probably already know this, but it should be your last option. That means that that specific board member, you did everything in your power to like, make them, I guess, I don't know what's the situation, but make them, I guess, more involved. And you included your board members, you included your advisors, you talked to Miss Santi, your LTG, you did everything. Converse with everyone, but if it doesn't work, it's time. It is what it is. You gotta let them go. They're holding you back. So next, it's also a very long process, by the way. So prepare for that if you are doing it. So next, by the way, these are like 3 slides. So one more. Next, board management. Be assertive, but not too assertive. Yes, you are their friend. Yes, you are there for them, but above all else, you are their president. You gotta make sure that they understand that and they know as well. Next, since you are the president, you are in charge of the workload. That's your responsibility. If someone refuses to do, meaning like, don't feel bad that you're giving them work, unless you're giving them too much work or they're sick, but give them the workload because you are in charge of like what exactly they're doing. That's your power as president. I know it's a lot of power, and that's why you gotta, be responsible with that power. Honestly, I did that. I wasn't a tyrant, but I made sure they didn't have too much work and they had enough. Next, due dates. Make sure that the due date you assign like your, I guess, board, is a bit earlier than the real due date. This is to allow you guys to either turn in early or to at least turn it in on time, because if you turn it in late, of course you are losing points, and no one likes losing points. Next, when sending event request forms, turn it in 3 weeks prior to the actual event. Again, though, be aware that it also depends on what type of event request form you are turning in, because, for example, if you're doing like if you're trying to, let's say, work with someone outside of your division, or working with like Circle K events, you need to also have the approval of your district advisor, not just your division, your actual advisor, your Kiwanis advisor, and stuff like that, but you also need your district advisor's approval. So for that one, send it to, what's his name? Mr. Doug Jin, a whole month early, or 2 months, I don't know, but like at least a month early. That's what I did. And yeah. Next, due dates that you should remember. Of course, it differs between each division, but for my division, Division 28 East, the example that we have is that for MRF is due at the end of every month, article of visuals 10th every month, newsletter 15th of every month, reflection of form for officers 15th of every end of every month, and the same goes for member recognition form 10th of every month. So always be aware of these due dates, because as president, you're supposed to remind your board members that these are the due dates and that they need to turn it in on time. Don't forget to remind them. Next, know what each position does. This helps with understanding what they are going through. It also helps a lot with assigning work. And honestly, me personally, I was fortunate enough to understand what I did a lot during my freshman and sophomore year. I did a lot of different positions, so I'm very well rounded. But for you guys, when you're doing your constitution, when you guys are reading over your constitution, you should also read over what each other position does, so you have a clear idea. Because, for example, I don't know, your vocabulary is very weird or something, and you thought the treasurer was supposed to have the other responsibilities. You're like, oh, they work with computer, so you assign them Google Slides to do. No, that's not the responsibility. They are the treasurer. So yeah, understand the positions. Next one. So board management. Again, this is the last one though, don't worry. Okay, so of course, don't play favorites. You already understand why, but I'll explain. So it makes board members feel excluded if you play favorites. Always talk to everyone equally. If your best friend or something is on your board and on whatever position, if you guys have an inside joke, either tell it to everyone else, or don't say it at meetings at all, because they feel excluded from the conversation that you 2 or 3 might be having. And you always have to remember that your whole board, or your board, is all of them are your friends. And you've probably been in a situation where you felt excluded from a conversation because you couldn't relate at all. And that felt horrible, did it not? So you don't want your friends feeling that way as well. Next, manage personal relationships outside of the club. So I think this is like not allowed, but if you have a boyfriend or a girlfriend in your board, that's bad. So it's obvious that you're going to play favoritism. It's always like that's your significant other, that's your love of your life or whatever. So always manage personal relationships outside the club. What if they get into your board members get into a fight with that person, and he or she was obviously in the wrong? Of course, you would pick that person's side because that's your person. So of course, if you just don't. I recommend just don't. I was in that type of situation before where my president had a boyfriend, and oh my god, that was something else. Don't be that person. Set goals. So talk with your board to set attainable and measurable goals. So this is something you do when you're, reading over your constitution. You are setting service hour goals for your members, like members in good standing, how many hours that they should be able to attain per semester to be considered a member in good standing. You're deciding that at the beginning over the summer. Next, and also, of course, for service hours, you have to set attainable, measurable goals for yourself as well. So next, membership. You always want to have a lot more than last year, the year before. I don't know how much or what percentage, but always have try to aim for higher, pretty much. Next, fundraising. Pretty much this amount of money to P2P or this amount to other charities. Always set an attainable goal during fundraisers or whatnot. So I'm done with that. I hope that helped.
Okay, so membership is really important. So what happens when you don't get a bunch of members in your club? So basically it lowers LTG budgets, which means we don't have as much division events. Let's say like socials or any type of that stuff. Also it may risk um of the district being split, which is really sad. I hope that doesn't happen in the future, but CNH is one of the biggest districts ever, especially since I'm pretty sure we're the only one that cheers, or we're the main one that cheers. So it would be a little bit scary for the whole district to kind of just split all of a sudden due to budget reasons, and also like because we don't have a lot of members. So make sure you guys are getting a bunch of members to that, and also shorten in decon. That would go with also maybe the splitting of the district, since we don't have as many divisions or I guess regions going. And decon is already as fine as it is in person, also virtually too. So if we were to have a shortened decon, that would be a bit sad, especially since decon is a whole 3 days, and if it was cut to one day, I don't know. I feel like decon, what would be the point of going to decon if it was only just one day instead of the normal 3 days? Another one is scholarship reduction, since money goes to also scholarships. Some of the scholarship money will go down. Also, some scholarships may not be able to exist if we don't fund and help fund that money with dues. So these are some good oh my god, these are some good reasons to have your members pay dues if you don't have any like good reasons. So first of all, it's a prerequisite to enter contests and earn recognition. So, for example, if you want to have a member for Member of the Year for the division contest, they're not dues paid, then you can't have them be Member of the Year. So make sure like all the members are dues paid, or else they won't be able to get like recognition. And this also goes for scholarships too, so they won't be able to get any scholarships if they're not dues paid. Service hours too. Service hours is really important, and if you see a member going to these service events in the beginning of the year and they're not like dues paid yet, you may want to contact them and be like, hey, you're going to these service events, but why aren't you like dues paid yet? Because these service hours won't count unless you pay your dues, and then you can like talk with them. It is also a point for the MRP, so you also may want to explain the MRP to them, and we'll get that on a bit soon into the presentation. But you'll just be like, hey, it's a point for the MRP, and it's really easy. It also pays for your district board budgets, and also it does pay for the division events, as I said in the last slide. And then when, like, for example, when quarantine first started out, we continued Key Club as if there was no quarantine. I mean, as if like we were like just like, okay, virtually, I mean, we got this, and we ran it like smoothly, and we got it on top compared to like other clubs, and we had a bunch of service projects and everything. So like what they'll be like, why do we have to pay dues? It's virtual. I mean, like, we're kind of continuing all of this and being motivated. So it's like, yeah. So some good ways to kind of get membership is, first of all, the first step for membership is recruitment. So what you should do, like, during the summer or by the beginning of the school year, is make some type of Key Club video that would be shown at your school assembly, or like some type of like club video that your school is doing. And it should be unique and kind of like differentiate Key Club from all the other clubs too. So don't make it like, oh guys, join Key Club, so fun. Make it like, interesting, and but not too long, but kind of like think of how you're going to plan this video. Show some like videos of decon or like service events and everything, and all like what Key Club basically is. Next up is school announcements. So you can contact whoever is in charge of school announcements, or like I think maybe Google form your Google announcements or for your school announcements, and kind of be like, hey, can you advertise Key Club? And they'll ask you what you want to say at the announcements, and then they'll say that at the morning announcements. And so it's a good way to kind of like get Key Club out there in your school, especially if your Key Club isn't as popular, or if there's like freshmen being like, whoa, what's Key Club? Do they make keys? Oh my gosh. And so it's a good way to kind of like get that out there. Advertise. So go to a classroom and make sure you ask your teacher beforehand, but like ask a teacher to either advertise Key Club themselves or like yourself, and you can like go to their classroom and be like, hey guys, this is Key Club, make sure to like sign up for Key Club and join our Remind and our Google Classroom and everything else. And members will feel like, or students will feel like they're like, wow, they went to like talk to us, to our classroom specifically, to talk about Key Club. Like, wow, maybe I should join. I mean, it's good to ask a lot of teachers, especially teachers that teach freshman classes. So yeah. Next up, you have freshman kickoff and club rush. So it may be different how you guys are doing club rushes, but when we're doing club rushes virtually, we're usually just put in a Google Meet, and then freshmen just join, and we usually have like a presenting slide that includes kind of a brief description of what Key Club is, and then the opportunities you get, and also like contact information. And you're kind of just there while talking about Key Club. But when you're advertising Key Club, do not advertise it mainly as a cheering club, because first of all, it does intimidate freshmen. I mean, some freshmen are like, whoa, cheering, but for those who are like a bit shy, especially since they're freshmen, you don't want to go like all out and be like this and this, be like, oh yeah, we have this just for you guys, and then like, you know, kind of be opening instead of kind of bombarding this with all this information. And so another good tip when you're advertising Key Club is differentiating Key Club from other clubs. So I have this I actually have made this up at 2 a.m., but I made up LOCK, so which stands for Large Opportunities, Core Values, Unknown. So for large stands for basically Key Club is a large club that's known internationally. It's worldwide, and it's also like student led. Opportunities is known as scholarships along with friendships, and it goes along with your core values, but it goes like more with scholarships and like kind of bonding with your friends, and go like just growing as a person. Core values, of course, this goes with our core values: leadership, character building, caring, and inclusiveness. And you can be like, oh yeah, these members, they learn all of these core values during their Key Club like I guess term, and it's like really nice. And then known, I actually got this from Miss Sancy, I think from my OTC when I went to it, but she basically said when colleges see that you have Key Club on your resume, they know what type of student you are. And that's just the type of club that Key Club is, that really impacts their members. To the point where it kind of like when colleges see like Key Club on your resume, they're like, I kind of know what type of person they are, and then they'll be like pretty familiar, and they'll be like, okay, maybe. And this is like better than like what NHS, because you know some people just do NHS, like I guess, but Key Club's just different. They're built different. Okay, and then next up we have a referral program. And so what you should do is give kind of an incentive to bring members to bring their friends to meetings, and then have their friend become a member. And so you can give an incentive, like some type of prize for the members because they brought like a new member to the club. Oh, but yes, membership is really important. It's basically the basis of your club, especially since members like in the inverted Key Club triangle, they're the most important thing. So to kind of like have members and like freshmen kind of stay in your club, you want to soften your president name, because I think once you become president, it's like your friends or whoever, like for example, your underclassmen kind of treat you differently just because you're president of Key Club. So it's like I didn't realize this until I realized my friends treated me differently, and I was like, I'm still the same person. Like, what? I'm 5 foot. I can be made fun of really easily. So, and then they were just like, they just stopped with the jokes, and I was like, okay. But you kind of want to be like, still be yourself, but be assertive at times, especially when it comes to like club matters. So when you're at a service event or some type of thing, and someone's not doing service, for example, if it's your friend, make sure you're telling them to do service, and like do the work. Not like even if they're your friend, like it doesn't really matter because they're at the service event to kind of like to help people and not just like hang around. And also when softening your present name, you also want to like kind of exude like kind of, I guess, give out a very nice and social energy that will make people want to be social too. So, for example, talk with members like before and after your meetings, and also be real and open with them because they'll be more reluctant to like kind of know you better, and also like when they know something that relates them to you, they'll kind of like be drawn more to like probably Key Club too, since you're the president of Key Club. So it's kind of like a weird psychological thingy that will kind of attract members to go back to Key Club meetings and etc. So a good thing is also remembering people's names. Oh my gosh, as president, it's good to yes, you're basically the mom and dad. So you need to remember all the members' names. I know it may be hard at the beginning of the year, but you'll get it, especially when you're doing icebreakers. And so when you're remembering people's names, you'll be like, oh, hey, for example, like, hey, Michaela, and you'll be like, whoa, you already memorized my name. And then they'll be like really struck to that and be like, wow, this president really cares about their members. And then, they're like, maybe I should stay. And again, always interact with your members, whether that be in the hallways, like before meetings, after meetings, and even during like service events. Another good thing to kind of get members engaged is also share your club goals. When you're sharing your club goals, it also involves the members. When you're usually planning your goals, it's kind of like, oh, I hope we strive for this and like get to this goal with your like board, right? Your members don't know about that goal, so it's hard for them to go for something that they don't know about. So when they see that you have a goal, they'll be like, wow, the president wants to like try to improve the club and I should help out too. And so if they see that the goal, for example, how like when Mal mentioned that has to be attainable, then like members can be like, wow, this is really easy to like get. And so they'll be drawn to kind of, for example, service hours. They'll be like, wow, this like I can get this many hours and then we'll be done with our goal. And then so it's not just you and the board getting to that goal, it's also the members. So it's good to kind of update your members about your goals, and they'll be like, oh my gosh, we're so close to 120 members, we have to get more members now. And this also goes for service projects and also events and how they benefit the community. So when they see the impact that they make in people's lives, they'll want to serve more, and this will eventually like get you more hours and also members, especially if they want to get their friends into Key Club. But yeah, it's a good motivation tactic that you can do, especially, but you have to be really consistent with everything. Next up, you have more membership engagement. So first thing we have is actually we'll go to the first month is essential, but your first month is really important, especially with your first 4 events. So for your first 4 events are the most impactful things in Key Club members' lives, especially this determines if they want to stay in Key Club or not. So for one of them, this can be either one of them. It's either social or like service, or you can even do an informative one. But for like social, make sure you have some type of social event, whether that be an icebreaker at your meeting or an actual like beginning of the year social at like a park or something. And so this will get members kind of more engaged and being more familiar with the club and the members and also the board too. With service, for example, we have a school cleanup right in the like first week or second week of the school year, and it's good too because they're like, wow, we're doing service here, and we actually do some type of like competition between like groups of at the school cleanup, and it adds competitiveness, and people will want to like pick up as much trash as they want for like a secret prize, and that secret prize is secret. So next up we have informative. So this is kind of where your workshops come in and members learn about Key Club. So we at Clark, we have an annual Camp Key Club where for members kind of go in a rotation of workshops, which include Key Club 101, charities, cheers, and also service project workshop. And this is really helpful, especially since members will know more about Key Club. Next up is RTC. RTC is one of the biggest events of in the beginning of the year of Key Club. Make sure you advertise it a lot, but not to the point where people will only want to go to RTC and then leave. I know RTC dropouts are kind of like inevitable, but it's okay. And especially with virtual right now, you shouldn't be getting a lot of RTC dropouts since RTC is a bit different, and some people only want to go to RTC because of that part. Next up, we have a point system. So if you're looking for an incentive to get members engaged, you can have a point system, in this case like key coins, and they're kind of a reward for getting involved with the club, like going to meetings, going to events, DCMs, and also like again referring a member to Key Club. So it's a good incentive to reward the members, and members can exchange those coins for like prizes. Let's say, for example, at our club, we had our treasurer who baked cookies, like hand baked them, and they were so good that many people bought them. And then like he was a bit tired, but they people went crazy for those cookies, and there was like even our secretary gave out like packs of Pokemon cards, and I have like a whole stack of Pokemon cards because of that. So it's really good to have a shop open for that, and then like get the members their prizes as soon as they can, as soon as you can. And you can also do monthly rankings with prizes. So for example, you're like, oh, let's see if who has the most key coins this month, or who got the most key coins this month. And this really helps if you're trying to choose who should get member of the month for the LCG, and it's like really nice. And also you can do prizes like, oh, whoever gets the most key coins this month will get boba, or they get like a free meal, whatever. And so it also like, it could kind of just be like adds that competitive factor too. And so yeah. Next up, we actually have dares. So dares are really common, especially at RTC, when, for example, I think Melanie, our IPMDE chair, did a face full of flour. In this case, you can also do this for your meetings or events. And so what I did for my last meeting of the term, if I reach 30 members, and then for every 5 that comes after, I will do a pie in the face. So I actually did 2 pies, and it was really funny. And also like it was kind of nice having everyone, like having some old members coming back just to see you pie your face. So yeah, that was a picture of me. These are some dares that you could do. So like, these some of these are a bit extreme, like take a shower with clothes on and hair full of mayo. So what you can also do is recite the Key Club pledge backwards, and you can even make up some of your own dares, like the cinnamon challenge, or do like a spoonful of spice sauce. So yeah. But next up we have the MRP.
So yes, the MRP. My eyes, I really need glasses, so I can't really tell you guys what's on the MRP, what exactly requirements are. But yes, this is a secretary job, but U.S. President should also know what the MRP is. So the Member Recognition Program, that's what it's called, is the program that recognizes your dues paid members. Meaning, to be on the MRP, you need to have your dues paid. You should emphasize that when talking to your members. So there are exactly 4 levels in MRP: bronze, silver, gold, and platinum. Always remember to remind your secretaries that they should be filling out the MRP, even if events are aligned. Also, not going to lie, it's a lot easier because it's online, because you can the secretaries can just easily screenshot things and take pictures, and as long as your secretary is reminded about this, they will put it in. And you as president always, like, this should always be your guys, like, go-to, your board, to look at, like, the type of awards, like for MRP, hours wise, to be entered in bronze, you have to get 50 hours. silver, oh my eyes, 100 hours, and then gold 150, and then platinum 200. So as president, you always want to be like the highest level, platinum. And so 200 hours, that sounds like a lot, but surprisingly enough, it's possible. There are actually people who got that to that level, and I was like, that's crazy. That I wish that could be me, but yeah, no, that wasn't me. But yeah, so always aim for that.
And be aware that the MRP, there's a deadline for the MRP. It's not actually ending at decon. It ends around like a few months or like 2 months before decon. So make sure you kind of fill all those requirements before the MRP deadline. So yeah, for example, if you want to go to an international event, but you already passed summer and then like Icon and SLC passed, So yes, as Miss Nancy said, start now. So look at this list, take a picture of this list, and if you're gonna go for gold, yeah, the deadline this year was in February. So take a picture of this, and if you want to get to gold, see your requirements and see what you have to do. More information is also on the CNH website. If you go to recognition, and I believe the MRP is on there, so it'll give a brief description of each requirement. And like if you're, for example, if you're confused by live stain from MNT, there's a description of that there. So next up we have our contest and recognition. So division contests, these include Club of the Year, Advisor of the Year, Member and of the Year, and then also Club Attire and Most Improved Club. So these are kind of your division contests that goes through the district judging committee or the division judging committee, and they'll be moved on to the district level. But basically the deadline is kind of determined by your LTG, but they're usually before the I believe they're like before the actual district contest. So this also includes, or what you should also do when you plan early for contests is website contests. So what they did last term is that they had bulletin editors or whoever is in charge of the website sign up for like kind of website check-ins, and so they kind of check your website every quarter and see what you can do with it and see if you're updating it. More consistently, and so it'll help you like get that. It'll help the bulletin editor or whoever's doing the website get the get the award at decon. So make sure you're like early, because it's usually, I'm pretty sure that the quarterly check-ins started at like around September. So make sure your bulletin editor, whoever's doing the website, like signs up for that and does like makes like a website. If they need help, then there's always the DLT, the DLT, and also like the district governor to like help out. Next up, we have district contest. So this includes your distinguished president, club newsletter, and also your year in review. There are more contests out there, but make sure you apply for distinguished president. Like, it's a really good flex to have distinguished president, especially during quarantine. And I wish I was as motivated and started pretty early when I did my distinguished president e-portfolio. Like, honestly, if you're going to start your distinguished president e-portfolio, I'd probably say make a Google Doc soon during the summer, and then like list out what you have to do so you know what to do to get distinguished president. So again, it's also 50 service hours they have to get by the time you turn in your e-portfolio. So get onto that. And also, this doesn't just go for you, but also all of your board members. So more contests can be found. So information about the contest can be found on the CNH website. If you go to recognition and then contest, and you'll find more information there.
So obstacles and solutions. So we just listed like just 2 obstacles that you might most likely face during your term, and we do have some solutions to it. But if you do have, we don't want to list everything because we don't want to go too in depth, but if you do have a problem that you have that you think you're going to face and don't know how to solve it, you can ask us at the end and we will talk about it as well. And don't be afraid to ask too, though, by the way, because like you don't know if someone else is going through that. So obstacles and solutions. Oh, my eyes. I need glasses. So a negative atmosphere. What I mean by that is like, yeah, a toxic atmosphere. So always take initiative when there is a situation involving Key Club. Yes, of course, you have your SAA, your Sergeant at Arms, but there will be times where you also have to be there and be involved because you, of course, need to always be involved in any matters regarding Key Club. So always be there. Don't ever, ever take a side. Like, for example, for me, I had like a whole extended board member and like a freshman member, a member who was a freshman, yelling at each other. I was like, wow, this is really bad. And like never take a side. Always be the middleman. Always be like, okay, calm yourself, calm down. And yeah, pretty much. And the great thing about virtual, you can mute them. Like if they're yelling and like you can't be heard, you can mute them. And you can just be like, calm down. I have a very soft voice, so like this helps a lot. Next, make protocols to prevent a problem from happening. So this also lines up with setting out rules and punishments if they cross them. Always like during when you're making your constitution again, you can make rules. Make rules of like, oh, what would happen if you cross these type of like lines, like, oh, if you do this and that, you're on probation. If you do this and that, you're kicked out. So always have that on hand and always like bring it up at the beginning, always bring it on whenever and wherever. Make a note at the beginning that your club is an inclusive club that embodies the Key Club core value. You guys should already know this: leadership, character building, caring, and inclusiveness. So always bring it up, always let them know. And it's also because like there's a lot of interesting things that are happening right now. So you always need to put them in just in case. You never know. So unmotivated, what I mean is like unmotivation in board members. So it's all about how you word things, to be honest. Like when you talk to board members, you have to talk to them individually and calmly, like when you're doing your checkups, and mention their lack of attendance or whatever that they've been doing. And you can't automatically assume things. Like you can't just be like, wow, this person just super lazy, they suck, and you just blatantly say it. You can't do that. You don't know what they're going through. You don't know what's happening at home. Like I don't know, they may be going through something. You're a therapist now. At that point, you're a therapist, and I know it's tough, but like you're a free therapist. You have to let them know that it's okay to like have problems. Be vulnerable with them, relate to them, let them know that it's okay. Like you have to like have it both ways, be open, have them feel comfort through you. And then after talking to them, you can just be like, hey, do you just need a break? Do you need a week break? Because like for example, my vice president of service, she had personal problems. She told me about it, but of course I'm not gonna say it right now. I'm not gonna say it, but like she had personal problems, and I just told her, saying, okay, no, you need a month break. Like, wow, okay, go do you. And I took over her position, and I said, okay, that's fine. So next slide. Wow. Okay, yeah, my eyes suck. Okay, so yourself, you become burnt out and start losing motivation. This is perfectly normal. Don't feel as though like that's like so weird. No, it's not. It's like it happens. It happened to me a lot, but I ignored it. Don't do that though. So take a break. Always take a break. I mentioned this before, but yes, take a break. Try to have one day a week where you just relax and de-stress. So for example, in my week, I have it so that my Sundays are I do nothing. Like I just lie there, do nothing. I do whatever I want. I fall asleep. I rest up, I de-stress, I have like I guess my me day pretty much. Try not to think that you have to do everything. Don't overwork yourself. You have a board for a reason. This will also make you burn out so quickly, so fast. And always ask yourself, why did I become president? Let that be your motivation. That will seriously help you out because I don't know what's the reason why you guys became president, but it's obvious that one of the reasons is just to make your club better and like make memories out of it. So let that be your motivation. Next, members. Don't feel unmotivated if you only have like a few members coming in. At least there are members coming. Remember that. Always dedicate your meetings to them and be like, hey, you're back. Hello. That's like how I was like. It was like we became besties at that point. I always talk to them. I text them. They tell me all this stuff. You start feeling connection. So always don't feel unmotivated about that. Next, if you have no one coming, it's okay. Still do your best because at the end of the year, you can say you did your best. Because if you just automatically give up because no one is coming, at the end of the year, you can't just be like, oh, it's because no one was coming. No, it's also because you gave up. Always do your best 24/7. I get the whole lacking, like you just lose motivation. But you know what? Just in your head, just be like, okay, you know what? Since my board members are also going through the same thing, let's go through this together. I need to be that one person who's like never gives up. Okay. Next, advertise/hype up your meetings/events 24/7. What I mean by this is like, yeah, personally ask people to attend your meetings. When you're talking to friends, no joke, when I became president, all my friends, they were like, wow, you're president now. And I'm like, I know. So you're gonna join Kiko now? And they were like, I'm gonna think about it. And I was like, yeah, you better think about it. Like, you always talk about it during class meetings, during, I don't know, if your school has a virtual assembly, just be like, oh, join Key Club, join Key Club. Like, it's super, super fun. It's like service. You can benefit the community, and like it's super fun as well. And plus make memories out of it. Always advertise your meetings. Also, I also advise that when you have general meetings, advertise it a week beforehand. It helps a lot. Don't do it a week of. That's bad.
Okay, so for icebreakers, I won't get into this really that much, but with icebreakers, they're really good to have at your first meeting, and they're really engaging for membership. So, for icebreakers, for example, there's soulmate, and I know we do soulmate a lot, but to kind of like have soulmate be more fun, have members be extremely picky. So, for example, have like a member, like let's say a member is like, oh my gosh, I want someone who's into like cute plants and only likes to play Animal Crossing, and they only have nice smelling hands too. Like that's weirdly specific. So it's a bit funny, especially when you're like they keep listing out these really picky things, and they're like you're just so confused, like why are you so picky? But you know, it's kind of like to kind of have fun. Next one is love box. So you can have a Google form and have members write nice messages to anyone, even including the advisor or anyone else, and you can read them at the end of the meeting after you have the members fill out the form at the beginning. And so it's kind of like cute to like have people be like have nice messages. Next up, we have a scavenger hunt. So there's kind of like the scavenger hunt, I guess, escape room, which is the where you use a Google form and you kind of like answer random questions. So, for example, one of the questions like, "What is Mrs. Santy's Instagram?" You would answer like, or some people will be like, "I don't know," and then someone can be like, "Oh, I know," and be like, "It's RA5 zombie penguins," and then like you get through the next question and go through the whole Google form, and first group that wins, like you know, they get a prize or they get bragging rights. And another example is like, how do you spell supercalifragilisticexpialidocious? And then nobody knows how to spell it, and then you're doomed. Then you're doomed, and then you lose escape room and you don't escape. Next one is also the picture scavenger hunt, where you take selfies with random things in your house. For example, take a picture with a face full of flowers. So RTC, those are one of the things, and I had to send that to the MDE chair Melanie, and all my pictures. Oh, I was looking at it. I was like, let's put that as a question. I had to search it up. Okay, but this is me at RTC, and all my pictures are very, very rushed because we were rushing. It was like time based, and it was like whoever sent the picture first, like you know, they win a point for their club. And I was carrying my club at RTC as if it was like cheering RTC. I was like, I gotta get through this. But yeah, next up we have our 4 backgrounds. So we usually do this at district events, and it's basically kind of like Russian roulette, where members choose out of 4 backgrounds or no background, and when a slide comes up and like chooses a certain background that goes out, then it's kind of like, oh man, I go out, I have that background, man, I'm out. But it's kind of like to see who's left and see who chooses a good, like, I guess, background. And it's kind of competitive in a way, but it's kind of like randomly generated, so like you know, you don't really know. More icebreakers can be found on the CNH website if you go to resources training and then icebreakers, but I am not completely sure if they're updated for virtual icebreakers. So it's better just to ask district board or any like other president that's been doing icebreakers. But yeah, then now we have tips and final reminders.
So, of course, you will need to have like what you should have as a president. So you should have calendars, reminders, an agenda, notepads. Notepads seriously help. Like you, as president, you think of Kiko every single, like 24/7, every single minute. You're just like, we should talk about this. We should do that. Always have a notepad at hand. You can just write it down and just stick it somewhere. Like literally, I kind of lost a few notepads. Not gonna lie. And always have water right next to you 24/7. So you spend a lot of energy doing Kiko work and schoolwork. So you're just sitting at your desk and you're just like, wow, I need to be hydrated. I need water. But that requires me to get out of my room. That's a lot of energy. Not gonna lie, that was me over the summer. I was very dehydrated. Don't be like that, please don't. Always have water at hand or just literally go get it. Like, you need it. And next, have a computer, of course. You all obviously have one, but if you don't, there's like Black Friday sales. There's like July 4th. Wait, what? Yeah, July 4th sales. There's sales. Always look out for those coupons. I don't know. So yeah. Also, if things go back in person, I don't know if DCMs are going back in person, but just in case if they do, or you have the events in person, always have a way to get to places, like a ride. If you have your driver's license, ooh, yes. Carpool, I don't know. Like, get a ride. Next, keep in mind, you need to always have a cool head in any type of situation. I'm gonna mention this, but I already mentioned this before, but like we had like a whole call or something, and it was a voice channel, and an extended board member of mine and a member was like arguing against each other, and I went in just to check up on them. I was like, oh, there's 2 people in here. Let me check up on them. Well, no, technically 3. And I was like, oh, what's going on? And I just hear yelling. I'm just like, ooh. And I just left. And I was like, okay, breathe. And then I went back, and I was just like, okay, what's going on? So yes, always have a cool head. If you start panicking a little bit, don't worry. Your board members are there for you. They're there to help you out. Next, always be patient with your members. Again, if a member of yours is yelling at you, I don't think they will. I don't think no one has the energy for that. But if by chance they do, mute them. Mute them. It's virtual. And if they're in person in front of you, just look at them. Like, just be quiet and just be like, okay. Always have a high tolerance for them. Okay, that's you. They're special. They special. Next, it's never your fault. If anything bad happens to you, it's okay. Like, things happen for a reason. And instead of just mourning, having that mourning period and always thinking back to it and just be like, wow, I should have done things differently. Just note down what you could have done differently and be like, okay, next time it's not going to happen. Don't think too much about it. Learn from it, reflect, and yeah. And then Bethany's going to do the rest.
Okay, so I don't want to really go much about tips just because we need time for question period. But a big thing is motivation is temporary, but self-discipline is consistent. So make sure you always self-discipline yourself when doing your work instead of just relying on motivation, because sometimes your motivation won't always be there to help you in your darkest times. So, work on your weaknesses, take breaks as always, and when you're ever self-doubting yourself, don't think about it. Be like, man, I'm gonna go be better than who I was next month, and just constantly improve yourself as president, since this is kind of like you growing. But yes, if you want, you can take a picture of the slide. But we're going to be moving on to the questioning period, and also our contact information is there if you ever want to ask us any questions or anything. Even though I'm a senior, I'll be open to answer you guys' questions.
By the way, since you guys are going to be interacting later on in the future, drop your ad. Interact with each other, follow each other, message each other. Yeah.
Yes, I recommend making some type of group chat. Yes, Miss Nancy.
Oh, I wasn't going to say anything. I hit the microphone instead of the camera.
Okay, I got worried, but yeah, please try to make a group chat on Instagram. It's really helpful, especially if you're kind of doing something. Especially also if you want some type of inter-club social.
Does anyone have any questions? We got you. Oh yes, make the group chat. anyone. Make the group chat. Don't forget to include everyone else who's not here. It would suck, but like let them know saying, hey, we got a president group chat. Wanna come? Wanna join? Is there a limit? I don't know.
I think on Instagram, I think it's like 30 people, but I don't know.
It should be fine. I mean, when we made a group chat, we fit everyone, but some people weren't there. But like, I don't know. I mean, I guess it's okay.
I don't know, maybe a Discord or something. I don't know.
Discord
Just an idea.
is not allowed.
It's not approved, I know. Just like your own friends thing, you know? So does anyone have any questions, comments, or concerns? Like things that you're facing right now? That's so nice. No?
Before we end, I just want to let you guys know that we will be sending out this presentation to everyone who attended, and the video should also be available to you guys after Miss Santi tells me how to access it.
I have to download it and then I'll upload it to a YouTube channel for you guys. So it takes a while for the video to process, and then after this we also have a secretary's workshop, so it may take even longer. So don't look for it like right away. It might be a little bit later in the week when I get a chance to deal with it. Okay. All right.
So now I got a weird question, or like anyone, I got a weird question. So my secretary won't be able to make it today. Would I be able to go in and then take the notes for her just so she would have like resources and stuff?
Yes. And like I said, we'll be also recording that one too, so she can watch it, and we'll be sending out the PowerPoints and stuff too.
Thank you.
Okay, Jessica, I got you on this. So for my board, at the beginning, we didn't have that many people on our board. So what you can do is you have friends. So ask them, be like, hey, I see you as always ask people to fill in for position. Like, be like, I really think that you're in this, but since you don't have a board right now, what I recommend, try to get a board. But if you don't have a board, always go to your LTG, ask for help, ask other presidents for help as well, advice. I highly recommend that. And to motivate yourself, the group chat will help. List your problems. They'll talk to you, help you feel better. So yeah, I hope that helps.
Okay, any other questions? All right, I'm going to stop the recording.